What is up? So in this video, let's walk through an entire wholesaling deal. I'm going to show you how I found it, comped it. We're going to listen to some call recordings. I'll show you my flyer for selling it to buyers. And maybe I'll even open up the check on camera. A lot of people seem to be confused about how the workflow goes, from generating the lead, getting it all the way through to close. So in this video, I intend for this to really help you out because it's going to be over the shoulder, kind of like shadowing type of thing. So you can actually see it, and it might be easier to conceptualize that way. And throughout the video, I'll drop some tricks that I use and some things that go through my mind when it comes to wholesaling, stuff that you'll be able to use on deals that you generate in the future. All right, so first things first, I had to generate this lead. So to do that, I cold called. That's what I mostly do. I used Smart Dialer for that. You can also use ZenCall, Call Tools, Mojo, they're all popular. Doesn't really matter, but I used an auto dialer. And by the way, links to everything that I use is in the description. I'm not gonna say it throughout this whole video 20 times. If you wanna check that out, you can. There's discounts for most of it, so why not save some money? All right, so let's listen to some of this cold call. Really, I just wanna show you the intro just so you can hear how you start the conversations. It's a 14-minute call, and I'm not gonna make this video an hour long, so let's listen to the intro.
Hello?
Yeah, hey, it's Kyle. How you doing?
I'm all right. You?
I'm doing good, thank you. I know it's kind of unexpected here. I'm calling about a property over on Country Club Drive. Just wanted to see if you had any interest in selling it.
Not right at the present. I've got one on Woody Hills Drive I'm ready to sell.
Woody Hills Drive? Okay, what's the street number on that one?
So that's the intro, and I wanted to basically, as you could tell, I kind of messed up. My Voxer app went off as soon as he picked up the phone, and it sounded like, because when you cold call, you can get bored. So sometimes I'm on my phone. He picked up, and hello? He had to say hello twice, and you could see, even when you start off not the best, you can still recover if you're nice and polite. And that's the first trick that I wanted to tell you, is to be super friendly with people. So you could hear that I said, how you doing? Right? A lot of people don't do that, Hey Tim, it's Kyle, how you doing? Start off super friendly, super positive. I've had people actually apologize to me for answering the phone rude in the past. Like 2 minutes into the conversation, they stop and say, oh, I want to apologize for how rude I was when I picked up the phone. And I'm like, no worries, I totally get it. You probably get a lot of calls. And you just continue on with the conversation. So that's all we're really gonna go over with this cold call. Basically, you wanna get the condition, reason for selling, time frame, and price. If you want me to go over this one call, it's a 14-minute call. I don't wanna make this video too long. I can do that. Let me know in the comments if you wanna see that. Drop a like on this video if you're liking this video so far, and let's keep it moving. So that's the first step. We've generated a lead. This guy is interested in selling. The next thing you're gonna do is put that in your follow-up system, your CRM. I use Podio. You can use my whole setup if you want. There's a playlist on my channel. I'll put a card at the top here if you're interested in that. You're not gonna be calling this lead anymore with your auto dialer. You're gonna move them over to your CRM, and then you're gonna be using smartphone. If you use my system, you can use whatever you want. But smartphone connects right into Podio, and it's click to call, super easy. So now I needed to call him back with an offer. He was already interested in selling. I actually got some detail in the phone call that he had 2 buyers actually back out of the deal on him already. So all I needed to do was see if the numbers worked and give him a call and let him know that we could do it or not. And that's gonna get to a second trick here very soon on if you're not sure if a price is gonna work or not. All right, so let's comp this property. I'm in PropStream. We're gonna go look up one of the duplexes. And when I am comping properties that are duplexes or multifamilies, I look for what are other duplexes selling for in the area, what's the 1% rule based on market rent, and what's the 1% rule based on the current rent. So let's just first see what other duplexes. Well, first of all, it's listed as a townhouse, which is kind of weird. I don't know why it's not. So there's another townhouse that sold for $95,000. And let's look at the condition. This is why I freaking love PropStream. This thing is amazing. So this looks freaking pretty nice. It looks like a rental. It looks like the stuff is pretty cheap. These appliances are not the best. But $95,000 for one of them. So that might mean that if he's selling both, I might be able to sell them for $190. However, these are in really good shape, right? So that's one thing. Next thing I'm going to do is go and look at, so okay, I know what his current rents were. He told me in that call that it rents for $350 a side. There's 4 doors, so that's $1,400 a month, which 1% rule is $140,000. So I've got $185 if it's really nice. I've got $140 based on its current rents. And now I want to look at what the market rent is in that area. So for that, I use Rentometer. So let's put in the address, their 1 bed, 1 baths, and see what we get. Median 600. So typically, because there's not a lot here. There's one way over here that's less. There's one here that's kind of right in the middle, and there's one that's higher. So what I did, I ended up saying $550 to be conservative per side. So $550, that's $1,100 in total. That's $2,200 a month, and 1% rule. That means $220,000 potentially. If it was like a turnkey rental, $220,000 is what a buyer might pay that, right? He wants on the call. He wants $125. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm like, $125. That could be something, but I'm not sure I'm too comfortable because I don't know the condition yet. To see the condition of the house, you can either go to the house, and for that, you're probably going to need a car.
Perhaps get you one like mine with these sick racing stripes on the top. So deliberate.
And if you're virtual, you can hire a mobile notary. I've done that in the past, $50 to $75. They can go to the house, show it to buyers. You just let the notary know to hang out with the seller and just say, yeah, I work with Kyle, and then have the buyers that you're going to go over there to see the house. Tell them, don't talk to the seller, go in, take a look at it, call me when it's done, and that's it. Or you can just ask the seller to take pictures. They'll do that. A lot of sellers, and what's great about sellers taking pictures, they want to make their house look like it's the best house on the planet. So they'll take really nice pictures. They'll get all the angles, they're taking, nice shots from the outside, and these photos are what you're going to be using to sell the deal. So it's great that they want to make it look really nice. The only caveat to that is they might try to hide stuff that's wrong with it. So you want to try to feel that out. If they're missing pictures, or if you notice that they might be avoiding areas of the house, you can ask specifically for those pictures. In this case, I actually I set up a time. He set up a time with the tenants for me to go meet him at the house, and we walked through all 4 units. I have footage of that. I just walk through, and I just kind of like casually make conversation with the seller and the tenant, making it seem like it's no big deal. The tenants already knew that he was selling the house, so it wasn't really a big deal. I could be just transparent, and it was easy walking through there as a potential buyer, right?
When I pulled out.
The cat?
I saw the house. It needed work. There was a hole in the in one of the duplexes. There was a hole in the back exposed to like the elements, and then above one of the bathrooms, it was like duct taped. Part of the ceiling looked like it was duct taped up to the bathroom, and I just wasn't sure. So I did not like the condition of a couple were good, and the condition of a couple I really did not like. So his 125, if the current rent's 1% rules 140, I'm thinking, all right, if people want to put 15 or 20 grand into this, then maybe the highest I'll be able to get is like, 120, maybe 110. So I wanted to shoot lower than that. So the next thing to do is talk price, make them an offer. So let's jump into that.
Hey,
Hey, Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
All right. I'm sorry I'm so long getting back to you, but I had the guys from Spectrum here trying to fix my...
He ended up calling me because, that's a motivated seller, right? He called me before I called him. And that's the one thing that's great about smartphone and the setup that I use is if you remember, I said, hey, Tim, when someone calls me, I know who's calling me if I've created a lead in Podio. And I've had sellers be like, how'd you know it was me? I'm like, oh, I got you saved in my phone. And it makes them feel really special. So when they call you, and you can pick up with their first name, it's great. So I'm gonna skip forward a little bit because for 2 minutes, all I did was get back into rapport. We talked about the TV, things like that, and then I move it along, and you'll hear that here.
For being really good. Kind of sad too, but hey.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I just want to give you a call. I know that you said you didn't want to drag it out or nothing like that, so I just did some research on it as best I could, as quick as I can. Wanted to give you a call. I know you're looking to get, I think you had said 62.5 for them, right? For each one?
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
So we're not quite there with it. So if we did buy them as like a package type thing, then the best we would do is 95,000, which would be 47.5 each.
Oh, I don't believe I can do that. I mean, the guy that I showed him to not long ago, I think he lowballed me to 40, and I thought, well, if I'm going to take 40 and lose the 20, the difference between 40 and 60, I might as well hire somebody to pick them up and keep them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I made the offer. It was low, right? I said, I think 95 is what I said in there. He wanted 125, so I'm $30,000 lower. Again, remember, I'm thinking that it 140 minus some rehab, and I want to try to make like 10, 20,000 on it. So that's how I got from 140 with current rents, 1% rule, minus say a $20,000 rehab takes it to 120, and I'm going to go low. Your first offer should always be low. And notice, I was like $30,000 off what he wanted. He didn't just hang up on me. He just said, oh, I don't think I can do that, right? So here, if you're uncertain now at this point, so I was like, all right, at 95, I know it's a deal. At his price, I don't know if it's a deal. Again, 140, he wants 125, I think it was at this point. I don't know that I can, if you take out the rehab, it may not be a deal. I didn't like that. So here's a trick that I use when I get in this situation with sellers.
Is that like the lowest you can go? Is that 62?
No, I might come down a little bit, but not anything, not anything like you mentioned.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I do have.
Here's the trick.
Okay. Well, what I could do is we could write it up for 120, and then if you give me 2 weeks to find somebody to partner with me on that, and then I'll just keep you updated the whole step of the way, every step of the way. And then if 2 weeks comes and I can't find a partner willing to jump in it with me, then I'll just give you a call. We can rip it up, and you can, just do whatever you wanted to with it, or not. Just throwing that out as an option.
Okay.
So he basically accepted that. He ended up, I added it to my contract. I just said if I can't find a partner and put EMD in within 10 days, then this contract is void. So I wrote up my normal purchase agreement, like normal, for 120, and I'm gonna shop it out now. You don't wanna tell sellers that, oh yeah, 120, yeah, we can do it, done deal, if you aren't sure. Because you don't wanna set people up. Like he might tell the tenants, and the tenants might start to move. And then if you can't sell the deal and you don't buy it, now you've got a guy hanging on to duplexes with no tenants. You know what I mean? You just, in situations where at 95, I knew I could sell it. At 120, I'm not sure, so I just let them know. I don't say, let me find a buyer, I'm gonna wholesale it. You say, I'm gonna have to find a partner, that's a pretty good price, that's a pretty high price, something like that. And then offer that up. And in his case, he totally accepted it. Then we just negotiated a couple of the, like how much earnest money deposit, exactly how many days. I started with 2 weeks. We narrowed that down to 10 days. And that's where we're at. So that's a trick. If you aren't sure about the price, let the seller know that you want to partner up and ask for some time on that. All right, so I sent him over the contract, and at this point, I have 10 days. So immediately, I created a Mailchimp, and I created a Facebook post. So Mailchimp is free. I have a video on my channel how to set up my exact template. I'm going to show you right now. So here is my Mailchimp. This is what it looks like, the email that people got. My company, whatever, the price, the addresses, a description, link to the photos, some pictures, this rental information that I showed you for Manometer. I guess at the time it was 588 was the median. Now it's 600. So rents are going up, which is great. This is the flyer, and then I made a Facebook post, basically the same thing, and then I put a link to that flyer in the Facebook post. So that's typically what I do. I send it out on Mailchimp, again for free, to my cash buyers list, and then I post basically the same thing on Facebook with a link to that flyer. So anybody that isn't on my mailing list still sees the same thing. I had the buyers come through. I had some people that were pretty interested, and then I ended up selling the deal for $140, as you saw, under contract at $120. And I only had 10 days. So it wasn't like I could mess around with this one. So I went with a buyer that was a sure thing, that closed on time, and that was it. So got the checks in the mail. It was 2 separate checks. I got one for each duplex. Let's take a look at it. Don't know if you can see that. Hopefully. And I'm gonna deposit these now, and that's it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If you want some one-on-one time, I have a link in the description. You can hop on my calendar, $100 for an hour. Ask me any wholesaling questions you want. But that's gonna be it for this one. I will see you on the next video.